things like that will change, and how we are part of the support for the monarchy may change slightly.
A bombshell exploded at the heart of a grand royal gathering, right in front of hundreds of elite guests and the unblinking eyes of global media cameras. Without warning, Princess Anne rose from her seat. Her expression was cold, controlled, almost terrifying. She lifted her hand, pointed straight at Queen Camilla, and in a firm, cutting voice demanded that she remove the Williamson diamond, the priceless jewel that once belonged to the late Queen Elizabeth II. For a moment, time stopped. The entire hall fell into stunned silence. No whispers, no movement, no reaction, just shock. Because no one, absolutely no one, expected Princess Anne, known for her discipline and restraint, to ignite such a fierce and public confrontation. But this moment, this explosion, didn't begin here. It began quietly, 10 days earlier, inside the private exhibition rooms of the palace. It was supposed to be routine, a standard inspection. Nothing unusual. Just another responsibility entrusted to Anne, who had taken charge of preserving her mother's legacy after her passing. But the moment she stepped inside, something felt wrong. The air felt heavier, still, unsettling. She walked toward the central display, where the Williamson diamond should have been resting, glowing under perfect lighting. But instead, there was nothing, just an empty space on deep blue velvet. Cold, silent, wrong. For a fraction of a second, her heart skipped. But her face didn't change. Years under constant public scrutiny had trained her well. Panic was never an option. She stepped closer, her sharp eyes scanning every detail. No broken glass. No damage. No alarm triggered. No sign of forced entry. Everything looked perfectly intact. And that was the most disturbing part. Because a system designed to stop the world's most advanced criminals had been bypassed without leaving a trace. There was only one logical conclusion. This wasn't an outside job. The thief was inside. Someone powerful. Someone trusted. Someone who could walk through security without raising a single suspicion. Anne's grip tightened slightly. Her mind began racing. Names, faces, moments, all flashing rapidly, then disappearing. But one name refused to fade. Camilla. Because over the past few days, something about her behavior had changed. Subtle, but noticeable. She had withdrawn from public appearances, skipped gatherings she never missed. And more importantly, she had been seen moving through palace corridors late at night, quietly, almost secretly. At first, it seemed insignificant. Now it felt like a pattern, and immediately ordered a review of the security system. But what she discovered only deepened the mystery. The footage had been tampered with, not erased randomly, but deliberately, carefully. Every critical moment gone, as if someone had planned this perfectly. And then something unexpected happened. A small crack appeared in the silence. A figure, unknown, quiet, but carrying a truth powerful enough to shake everything. Who was this person? And what did they know that could challenge the authority of a queen? Back in the palace corridors, sunlight filtered through stained glass, casting long shadows across red carpets, and walked through them like a figure carved from stone. Calm, focused, unshaken. Her entire life had been built on duty, not emotion. While others saw royalty as privilege and saw it as responsibility. And that difference had always defined her relationship with Camilla. For years, there had been a polite distance between them, respectful but cold, aware and valued discipline and legacy. Camilla, after years of struggle, seemed to embrace visibility, influence, and power. That contrast had never fully disappeared, and now it had turned into suspicion. Back in her private study, and spread out schedules, records, movements, every detail from the past 10 days. Her fingers moved slowly, until they stopped. Again, on one name, Camilla. It wasn't a guess anymore. It was a pattern forming. Late-night movements, avoidance of routine, restlessness. Even small gestures during recent dinners fell off. The way she adjusted her collar repeatedly. The way her eyes shifted when the royal collection was mentioned. These were not random signs. They were the behavior of someone hiding something. something heavy, something dangerous, and stood by the window, looking down at the quiet palace courtyard. Inside her, a battle was raging. On one side, the need to protect the monarchy's image. On the other, the duty to protect her mother's legacy. If she acted too soon, without proof, she risked creating a scandal. If she stayed silent, she risked losing the truth forever. The decision wasn't easy, and wasn't someone who avoided difficult choices. She picked up the phone and called in someone she trusted completely, a senior security technician who had served the palace for decades. What he revealed confirmed her worst fears. The surveillance system hadn't malfunctioned. It had been overridden, manually, using a high-level code. That meant only one thing. This wasn't just access. This was authority. The kind of authority very few people possessed, and didn't react immediately. Instead, she gave one clear instruction: recover everything, even fragments. Because even the most perfect cover-up leaves behind something, if you know where to look. Hours later, deep in the technical basement, surrounded by humming servers and flickering screens, they found it. A fragment. Just a few seconds. But enough. The footage was grainy, dim, recorded in infrared. Timestamp: 2 a.m. 3 nights earlier. A figure appeared in the corridor, walking quickly, carefully, looking around. And even though the image wasn't perfectly clear, the posture, the movement, the silhouette, it was unmistakable. Camilla. She approached the exhibition room, placed her hand on the biometric panel, and just as the door opened, the footage cut to static and stood there silent. This was evidence, but not enough, because power could twist explanations. Excuses could be made. Intentions could be denied. She needed something stronger. And that's when the knock came. Soft, almost hesitant. A young guard stepped in, pale, nervous, terrified. His voice shook as he spoke. But what he said changed everything. He had seen her, that night, leaving the exhibition room. And in her hand, there was a flash, a glow, a distinct pink reflection. The Williamson diamond. Silence filled the room again. But this time, it wasn't confusion. It was clarity. This was the final piece. Now, and didn't just suspect. She knew. But instead of acting immediately, she waited. Because she realized something deeper. This wasn't just about theft. It was about timing. The upcoming royal event wasn't ordinary. It was global, symbolic. A moment where power would be displayed without words. And then it clicked. Camilla wasn't hiding the diamond. She was planning to reveal it at the perfect moment, to send a message that she was now the true bearer of royal legacy, that she had stepped out of the past and into full control, and understood the strategy. And instead of stopping it, she decided to let it happen. Because sometimes the strongest move is not prevention, it's exposure. The night of the grand event arrived. The hall was dazzling. Lights shimmering across crystal chandeliers. World leaders. Media. Eyes everywhere. And then, Camilla entered. Confident. Poised. Wearing a black velvet gown. And, on her chest, the Williamson diamond. Radiating. Dominating. Demanding attention. For a moment, it worked. All eyes were on her. All admiration focused. But then, and moved, step by step, through the crowd. Calm, precise, unstoppable. She stopped directly in front of Camilla. Didn't bow, didn't smile, just looked straight at the diamond. Then raised her hand, and pointed. The room froze again. And before anyone could react, the screens lit up. Security footage. The corridor. The figure. The movement. The truth. Whispers erupted. Shock spread like wildfire. Camilla's expression changed. Confidence cracked. Then came the final blow. The guard stepped forward and spoke, every word sealing the truth. Camilla stood alone. No support. No escape. No denial left. Slowly, her hands trembled as she removed the diamond, placed it down. And in that moment, silence became judgment. She turned and walked away. Not as a queen, but as someone defeated. and didn't celebrate, didn't react. She simply stood there, watching. Because this was never about victory. It was about truth. Later, in the quiet of the exhibition room, she placed the diamond back where it belonged. Safe, untouched, restored. And, as it shined once again under soft light, and understood one thing clearly. Power can shift. Reputation can break. But legacy must always be protected, no matter the cost. So now the question is yours. Was Anne right to expose the truth in front of the world? Or did she go too far, risking the image of the entire royal family? Tell me in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories like this.